right, gentlemen. So three events deep. How's it going? How's the feedback coming? Do you think people are finally getting into the new format that you guys have put together for MMA?
Well,
now?
you guys were here tonight. You tell me. Look, everyone's excited. Everyone's chanting. Upsets are happening because guys are coming out and they know they got to score points. And Ray and I both said it after PFL 1. We both said it after PFL 2, and now we're saying it after PFL 3. The fighters get it. Ray's got it in these guys. Help them to understand that if you want to make the playoffs, you got to make points. If you want to get points, you got to go and get a finish. And I think it's showing. We're 3 for 3 now.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you guys saw. Someone put on social media the finish rate of all the events combined. It's almost like 80% or something.
Correct.
Like that, which is probably more than anyone else out there.
Well, I mean, again, the K1 was at like 88% per show. It was just, and that's exactly what we're creating here. Everybody understands that they can come. Listen, Brian Foster didn't fight tonight. He was one of our guests, and he's jumping off the ceiling at the moment. Like, he can't wait to get back in there. That's how excited these fighters are. And I mean, when I see them excited, it makes me excited. So it's just. Listen, this is the Carlos and the team's vision, and it's just amazing and a great feeling for us to see it kind of fall into place. You know what I mean? And so we're super excited about it.
The sense of urgency to win seems to be the thing that's present in all three events.
Right.
Even, I mean, not to bring up anything bad, but even with the thing that happened with Jason High in the last event,
right?
The magnitude of how bad he felt because of what happened,
right?
Compared to someplace else, usually somebody would just write it off,
right?
But he was obviously super. I know you went after him right after. So I think that's something that people are starting to notice.
Well, look, every fight, Ray said it the other day because someone was talking about an undercard and a main card. There's no undercard and main card. Every fight counts. And in the case of Jason, sure, he was upset because he knows that he's only got 2 fights to get the points he needs to make the playoffs, and now he's going to have to come back in that second fight in the 4 weeks' time and get it done. So look, I think the format's holding up really well. It's exciting. I think the fans really like it. It's growing because it's going to take time. Everything takes time. But now we're 3 events in. We're done with the first round of the regular season. And now, how exciting is it going to be when we go in 2 weeks to Nassau? And those fights will determine the top 8 that make it into the playoffs.
And you know what makes it even more interesting and exciting is when all the guys that don't have points looks at the guys that are 6, 5, 4, and now they're going to be even more hungry to try and at least get 6 points in the next fight. So it's it's one of these. Again, I can't stop grinning because I'm so excited and just loving everything. Not only the atmosphere, the people, the fans, the fighters, the fights. I mean, it's just it's. I'm really just super happy about the outcome of every show so far.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of an old treat back in the day. The snacks with the prize in it. You never really know what you're going to get with a mixed bag. The Cracker Jacks. That was the name of it, Cracker Jacks. So you never know what that prizes are going to get. But you got to be proud of the product that you're displaying with because, like you said, every single fight
matters.
With the knockout ratios, it matters. But you're also getting a class of styles where records can be deceiving.
Right.
Very deceiving, especially guys who've been on other circuits, other promotions, and there's expectations of it. It tears around. So you guys got to be happy about that displaying because all it takes is what? 1 punch, right?
Exactly.
All it takes is 1 punch.
That's right.
And tonight's show, I mean, we as you guys saw, we found a couple of stars in tonight's event.
Yeah.
You know
Stars
what I mean?
in the making, yes.
Exactly. So, it's like Carlos says, it's going to take some time, but as they say, you build it and they'll come.
One thing I think I like about, and I'm not sure if you guys talk about this in the fighters meeting. Of course, I'm not on the roster, but it seems like a lot of your fighters, even after a victory, they're controlled. It's not a lot of showboating. It's a little bit of hufflepuff, but it's not a lot of outrageous things that we've seen in the past. Is that something that you talked about your fighters? Just okay, we're comfortable with showcasing your talent and everything, but they seem to be a little bit calmed down and professional putting the P in professional fighting as well.
You know, yeah, absolutely. That's something we make very clear. You know, Carlos and I are all about respect. And coming from a martial arts background, that's, you know, you pay respects to whoever, you know what I mean? And whether you're facing the guy or whether you see him down the street, whatever, you know, you just pay respect to everybody. And so it's really satisfying and humbling when you see our athletes and our fighters, you know, the attitude is that kind of along the way of that respect paying forward, you know what I mean?
But the thing that happens in the fighter meeting, I mean, look, I'm there, Ray and I are team here, and I'm there, and we can go over the scoring, we can go over the format, we can go over that if you win, you get points, and if you get a finish, you get points. But then you turn it over to Ray, and these fighters get to hear about how they got to leave it, you know, in the cage. They got to come out and get a win. And it's one thing for any of us to tell these fighters that, but it's a completely different story when Ray Sefo tells it to them. And you can see it in them. I mean, I'm very humbled and proud to be there because you can see Ray's been there. Ray understands what a finish is all about. He understands what you got to do to get weight cut and make it and be a professional. And I really think it's a advantage for all of our fighters to, you know, to hear that from Ray. And I think they want to come out and not only fight for Ray, they want to fight for themselves, but I think it's important that under his tutelage they bring that, and we're seeing it. We've seen it now in 3 fights, 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I definitely see it. I know Ray doesn't miss doing the 2 fights a night back in the K1 days, especially Heroes days and everything. It's a lot of warfare. And there's a lot of fighters who we talk to, even most recently Eddie Gordon, just saying that, hey, I respect the guys that went through that. That brings a little bit more value through your promotion when you have guys like, they've seen it on video, they've seen it on tape, where you got other guys, even from the first promotion that they were now, you have Andre Harrison come up like, man, he just fought like 3 weeks ago. Guys can really do it. So it's really getting in their mindset.
Right. No, absolutely. And, you know, again, that's something we drive home is, you know, listen, the goal is to become world champion and become a millionaire. And when you do both, you live the American dream. And there's no league at the moment it's going to give away $1 million to 6 different guys on what, and, you know, when it comes to finals and the championship. So all these guys want to live the American dream. All these guys want to, you know, get that $1 million. All these guys want that strap around their waist. You know what I mean? So I'm excited.
And look, I mean, I saw Eddie after his fight. I saw Abu Bakr after his fight. Guys that they lost tonight. But I can see it in them. They're going to go back to the drawing board. They've got another fight. They got points to get. And they're going to come out and try and get their 6 or their 5 points and get into the top 8. If they can get into the top 8, then they've got a shot just like the other 8 guys. Right. If they win, they'll advance. And if they win, they'll win the $1 million. Right.
And it goes on. There's just going on back-to-back shows coming up. And Long Island and everything going on that. I hate to equate this to like a television show, but the first season is always the best season. And not to get too far ahead with the second season coming up, you know, it's going to be difficult to top this because, I mean, Ray, you're known, and Carlos, you've done your work. You're going to have fighters knocking on your door and just itching to probably be a part of that. How do you handle that influx? And probably you might even get that influx a little bit earlier.
We're welcoming everybody. You know, Carlos and I, you know, sat down and along with Pete, and we've talked about how once we crown 6 world champions with $1 million each check in their hands, it's going to change the game because everybody's going to go, wow, I kicked that guy's butt. And so, you know, that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
But it's already changing the game. You can see it now that we're done with the first round. You see it on social media. Right. Everyone's talking about, wow, this format's working. I understand it. The fighters understand it. And by the way, I think it's great. And you see it over and over again. You see it from fighters across the board, and you see it from fans across the board. So now we'll move on. We'll go 2 weeks from now. We'll be in Long Island, PFL 4. We're going to have the 45s and the heavyweights, round number 2. We've got 6 guys that have points. We have 6 guys that don't have points, but all 12 of them have a shot to make it into the final 8.
I'm very impressed with the format, man. Like I said, it's hard to top it from show to show. It keeps on seeing better.
Trust me, we're going to top it all right, because these fighters are hungry. They're hungry for the victory. They're hungry to become millionaires. They're hungry to become champions. And so it's going to continue to climb, and we're going to top it every single time. No doubt in my mind.
Even though you don't have, you know, the fight of the night. You know, fans have, you know, like gentleman mentioned over here, there's been social media that just picked out the favorites. If you see those favorites and those opponents, you know, they didn't have the outcome that they participated in, do you resist things, you know, as matches in the future that, okay, if viewers like this, maybe we should revisit it, even though you have to go through the tournament format as well?
Well, you know, matchups is one of these things that, you know, can't really, it's too soon, too early to kind of say anything about matchups until, you know, it literally just finished. So, you know, we got, Carl and I got to go back and have a few, you know, chats in the next couple of days and make those matches again.
Cool. That's it for me.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.